Well, hello everybody. Hope you're doing good today. So, in the middle of trying to get everything finalized for Christmas, we got some stuff that people want, and I'm trying like crazy to get it out. And yeah, if Murphy's Law can happen, I'm the spokesman for it. Let me show you this. Some of y'all may know what that is. For those of y'all that don't, that is a compressor motor, or pump, excuse me, not the motor, the pump. And all of that is the oil from the crankcase. Yeah. So we're running the plasma table, trying to get a bunch of stuff cut that has to go out by the end of the week, because I try to be a man of my word. I promised people that I'd get this done, and yeah. So let me show you. That's where my air compressor sits in this jumble. So the motor, 60-gallon tank, the pump motor. All the black is dirt and oil, and I don't know if you can see it on the side right there. Right in there. That's not a shadow. That's oil. So last night we were cutting, and the plasma table was having a hard time keeping up with the air compressor was having a hard time keeping up with the cutter, and that just doesn't happen. That compressor has always performed great. We've had it for about 30 years in this shop. Before that, it was military on a local base here that we got it from DRMO. So I mean, it's an old compressor, but somehow, and I'm not sure how, the bottom of the housing cracked. I do believe that there was a casting imperfection, but again, we've had this thing for 30 years plus. So, but yeah, there's a crack in the bottom of the casting, and oil was coming out from it, and I'm guessing it just ended up wearing the rings out. So now we got to get a new compressor pump. It's still got compression. It's still actually pumping the compressor up, but where it used to take 4 to 5 minutes, now it takes over 20 minutes to fill the tank. So that's no bueno. I don't know if you can see it right there, is where it's cracked. So yeah, fun. This is the company Kellogg's, and let me see. I don't know if anybody can see it. So it is a model 335 TVX. There's the serial number, and so yeah, it stinks. Had it for a long time, and it's done really well, but don't know that I can fix it. Okay, so again, I've still got orders that have to go out. I don't have a compressor that will run everything in the shop. All I've got is a little pancake air compressor. I don't know if it'll back the plasma table up or not. Probably not. I've called a local air compressor sales here in Middle Georgia, and they do have a replacement pump for this. It's Chinesium, but I don't know that I have much choice. So my plan is to get that pump, put it on the compressor so first thing in the morning, so that I can get it running. And that one, I'm gonna take it apart and If everything else looks good and I can find the valves and the rings, I'll hone the cylinders. I'll take the casing, clean it up, braze that crack in it, and maybe I can get it to work and I'll have a backup. So, yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so I went up to the air compressor place and talked with them, spent a little while up there and showed them some video of the compressor running, and came to the conclusion that there's really nothing wrong with the compressor. Most likely it's the valves that are gone bad, and the gentleman up there said he thought he had a valve set that would work. So we've got our valve set. I've got some diagrams and instructions that we're going to try to look at. I've never done this before, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the first thing we're going to do is, we know we've got to take these 4 caps off, and so I'm going to sweep all the dust off the top of them so nothing gets down in the cylinders, and then we're going to take these apart one at a time. Let's see. There you go, that first time. And that was kind of loose. Okay. All right. Okay. Now that's interesting. I don't know if you can see all the crud around that O-ring. And then right there, some garbage on that. That's kind of interesting. Okay. All right. So that's the valve and some kind of keeper. Probably need to clean that spacer up. Okay. All right. So that is the intake. So I've got 2 that are marked intake. One's smaller, one's larger. So I know that this is the one I need. Okay, that looks good. So really can't tell a whole lot of difference in them. So I'm hoping this is right. All right. So the other thing we need to replace is down inside here, there's a little copper O-ring, and we got to replace it. Come on. Okay. Yep. And I'm gonna get a rag and wipe the inside of that out real quick. Okay, we've got it wiped out. We're gonna put the copper O-ring in. That's in. Now the valve. Look at these one more time. Okay. Put that in. Make sure it seats good. Okay. And then I'm going to clean this up by just wiping it down, getting any soot and dust off of it. The little parts cleaner, wiped it down. It's as good as new. So that'll go in now. There we go. And the other thing the kit came with was new rubber O-rings for here, so we got to get these off. There we go. And again, a little bit of parts clean. Our O-rings. All right. And slide that back in. You know what? I think I'm going to put just a little bit of oil on this. All right. Like I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to put oil on this or lubricant, but I've always been taught when you put seals in, they need some kind of lubricant, so we'll go with that philosophy. All right. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then we just go back with the screws or bolts. Tab that just a little. There we go. Right now I'm just going to snug them, and I'm alternating the sides so that I put even tension. All right, so I've just snugged them. I'll check the documentation I've got and see if there's a torque spec on it. But I want to go and change the rest of them, and then we'll come back and torque them if it's required. The other three should be exactly the same, so I'm going to do those off camera, and then I'll bring you back. Look at that sludge. Okay, told y'all from the beginning, this channel's what it is. We're not dramatizing anything. I'm not making anything up. Life happens. It is what it is. And if I make a mistake, I'm going to tell you. And yeah, I made a mistake on this one. A lot of y'all are going to say, well, you're a dummy. You should know this. And it's never occurred to me in 49 years. It's never occurred to me. We've had this compressor for about 35 years that I know of. It was in operation before we got it. We got it, we put it in its place, tucked it under the stairs, out of the way. We've never checked the oil in the pump. Yeah. Okay, so now comes the fun part of trying to clean this. You've seen the sludge, you know how nasty it is. Yeah. So helpful tip, make sure you put your air compressor somewhere where you can service it, because if you tuck it out of the way, out of sight, out of mind, you forget things. So we're going to try to flush the crankcase out, get all that crud out, and then put in some good oil. Hopefully we haven't done any major damage to the lower end of this pump. Well, it's had a marketplace makeover with a rattle can restoration. I say she's good.